Alright guys, welcome to another beer review, and it's another Stout Sunday, although I'm recording this on a Saturday, but oh well. And it's another sort of double whammy review, so it's going to be a beer review, but then it's also going to be a bit of clueless eating action. So as is the case with these videos, if you just want to watch the actual beer review, then absolutely fair enough. So today we're going back over to Track, and this is a collaboration with Kings and Daughters Brewery, and this is a can of the Giant Haystacks, which is a coffee and blueberry granola imperial stout, clocking in at 13% ABV. So this is brewed with blueberry, vanilla, coffee, cinnamon and cacao nibs. Now, I'm not too sure where Kings and Daughters are based, so as is always the case, links will be down below, and this is the first time I'm actually having a Kings and Daughters beer, so yeah, I've had this for a little while. I was holding off opening this until either Christmas or the bottle show with Harry, Dean and Craig, but I was just really in the mood for an Imperial Stout. Plus I picked up some chocolate as well when I was at Aldi the other day. So what I'll be pairing it with a little bit later is, and I don't know how these guys are pronounced, but is that Moser Rot? Or is it Moser Rov? I'm not sure how it is pronounced. But yeah, these are like at the... You know, you get the little snacks and stuff that go along the tills and that sort of thing. And they just caught my eye. So yeah, they're both Colombian chocolates. We've got one that is milk chocolate with coconut and Himalayan salt. And then we've got a dark chocolate with quinoa and orange flavour. So I'm really interested to see how this will go with an Imperial Stout using coffee, blueberry, granola. Oh god, does it actually have granola in there? Or is that just like, they're calling it like a blueberry granola? So it's like a, almost sounds like a breakfast stout. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how those go. But as I said, primarily a beer review. So let's get it recorded. I'm going to be using my Indieman 2018 glass for this, because I want to try and take the time. If I pour it into like a bigger glass, then I know I'm going to drink it a lot quicker. That's just the way I am. I'm a terrible person. So let's give this a pour. It's got a nice glug. It's like I've hit oil. But yeah, beer in the glass then. And yeah, that to me is pretty much jet black, with about one finger's worth of a nice dark beige looking head. Gets a little bit more intense in the middle, but yeah, it looks absolutely lovely. It looks like a black coffee, to be honest. So let's see what we get on the nose. Definitely getting that granola vibe. Coffee shines through as well. There's a bit of a smokiness from the malts. Blueberries, I'm not really getting too much on the nose, but there is like a sweetness there. Definitely get a bit of the cinnamon bite. Cacao nibs, definitely. Yeah, there's like a dark, cakey sweetness and a bit of a sort of slight earthiness to it. But yeah, it's smelling like you've had granola. Got my nose twitching. You've had granola. It's twitching again, even though it doesn't look like it's twitching. So yeah, it's got that real breakfast sort of. It's absorbed all the milk. I mean, yeah, now that the beer's breathing slightly, you do get the blueberry character, but you've got to really, take a big sniff. But yeah, it's very breakfasty. Coffee is on point. Smells damn good, so let's give it a taste. Cheers. That's absolutely wonderful. Velvety smooth. There's a creaminess there, but it's not too heavy. Coats the inside of your mouth. ABV of 13% is masked nicely. There's that usual warming as it goes down and into the pit of your stomach, but you're not getting any booziness on the flavour or anything like that. Blueberry comes out a bit more. It's almost like stewed down blueberries, sprinkled with cinnamon, I would say. Chocolate coffee. It's got that sort of like chocolate cover wafer character, almost like a blue riband or riband, however you want to pronounce it. Which, Rob, if you're watching this, we still need to try and get that beer brewed by someone. There's a tingling from the carbonation, but it's not too aggressive at all. But yeah, there's like a stickiness about it. Really indulgent factor. I mean, I've been having some absolutely banger, IPAs from track recently. Had an absolutely stonking Imperial, triple fruited goza that they did with Zagafor. Missed out on the blueberry version of it, which just sounded even more insane. And yeah, they've not disappointed with a stout either. I think the only real time that I've been a bit with track is when it's more of like a sub 4% session pale ale or IPA, because I just don't get anything from that style in general. It doesn't matter who brews it, 9 times out of 10 I'm going to be really disappointed and be craving a bit more body, maybe a bit more hoppy character, that sort of thing. But yeah, Imperial Stout is absolutely on point. This is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it's very breakfasty. Lovely, lovely stuff. I know they did another one around this time, which got a lot of praise. But yeah, it's got that breakfast sort of stout character, but then there's also that dessert stout, but it doesn't have the the synthetic adjuncts in there. I mean, it doesn't go into detail what sort of blueberry is used, what sort of vanilla is used. There's obviously a bit of lactose in there as well, just to smoothen it out. But yeah, cacao nibs, coffee, it's lovely, lovely stuff. I'd have liked to have known where the coffee was sourced from, but that's just a thing for me because I'm always on the hunt for a good coffee. And it's there, but it's not too in your face. It's not too roasty. It's not too smoky. Although you do get those characters on the nose. It's a lot sweeter on the actual taste. But yeah, lovely artwork as per usual. This time coming from AH Creative, is that? Or is that AW? I can't read it. Probably won't get any clarity on there because my camera's not that good. But yeah, there's really no real sort of like synthetic, overly sweetened characters to this. And the blueberry's not so strong that you'd think that there was like a blueberry sort of syrup or puree or whatever. I mean, there may well be, but it goes really, really well. So you're getting those characters you'd expect from like a really adjunct riddled synthetic pastry stout. But it's got those lovely breakfast stout characters as well. It's lovely stuff. It really, really is. So whether you're drinking this on Stout Sunday or in the middle of the week, you're in for an absolute treat if you've got yourself a can of that. I need to look into Kings and Daughters Brewery as well. So in terms of a rating then, I'm going to give this... going to give it a 9 out of 10. The only thing that's stopping this from getting a perfect score is it does have, and I know people are going to say, well, it has got blueberries in it, but my good friend Rob from Hopscene will attest this. Sometimes you get an imperial stout and you get a cherry berry-like character, and there's just a slight hint of that which I'm not the biggest fan of. I'd like this maybe to be a bit more like chocolatey, cakey, and I think it could well, get those characters. I'm not just plucking them out of thin air. But yeah, body-wise, perfect. Would not change it. I just like a bit more sweet chocolate sort of character, and maybe ever so slightly on the back end, a pronounced coffee tone. But 9 out of 10, I'd happily, just devour can after can of this anyway. So I don't know why I drank it out the can then. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Another absolute banger from Track. Definitely a comeback of a year, I would say. Especially now that they're in cans. And as I'm recording this, in a few days, they're going to have Grim Ales over with like exclusive pours. And hopefully some cans as well. So, yeah, from their like recent trip, and I think they've worked with Left-Handed Giant, maybe another brewery, to get Grim stuff over in the UK. But yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. So if I'm off on that day, I'm going to have to pay a visit to Cloudwater Unit 9. What a genius place that is, to have your temporary tap room right underneath where Cloudwater is, so you get two of the best breweries in the Northwest under one roof. That's why they call it Toys R Us, Toys R Us, Toys R Us. Anyway, it feels like Toys R Us when you go in there. More be it an adult, beery Toys R Us. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Check out both Track and Kings and Daughters Brewery. If you've tried it, let me know your thoughts, opinions, and all that good stuff. And yeah, another one added to the ever-growing Track playlist, which should also be down below. So if you're not interested to see how it pairs with these two chocolates, then I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. And if not, let's get me even fatter than I already am, if you want to stick around. So I think now I've had the chocolate a couple of times. You do get it a lot in Aldi. I'm not sure if it's like a brand produced for Aldi. I'm not too sure it is. I'm sure it's like a well-renowned chocolatier that you can get elsewhere. In fact, I'm sure I've seen these in shops in Germany. I can't remember. Oh my god, no, specially produced for Aldi. So there we go. Interesting. So maybe I've just seen these in Aldi, and then maybe somewhere randomly in Germany. Oh, Aldi. God, I talk utter nonsense. So I think I picked these up for like essentially like £1 each. And from the feel of it, you get 3 of those sort of like longer pieces. So what should I start off with? Should I start off with the milk chocolate with coconut and Himalayan salt? Or should I start off with the dark chocolate with quinoa or quinoa, however you want to pronounce it, even though I think it's quinoa, and orange flavour? I don't think it really matters. It's probably all just going to blend into one anyway. So I'll start off with the light chocolate first. Well, milk chocolate as normal people call it. There we go. Nice cute little piece with the logo there, which reminds you of sort of like the French Metro, although that's a completely different typeface. But yeah, it's got a very sort of metropolitan France in the 30s sort of aesthetic to it. Anyway, talking well and truly out my arse, mainly because I watched Irreversible for the first time in a while and forgot how powerful and brutal that famous or infamous scene is. Anyway, so oh, it smells nice. You definitely get the coconut. Definitely get that coconut. So let's give it a taste. You get the sort of like aromatic coconut flavour as opposed to like an upfront biting straight into a Bounty bar. So it's more of a coconutty aftertaste. And that salt just, just amplifies the flavour. Interesting. Sort of make me think wishing that the stout had coconut in there. Ever so slightly takes on a sort of Kinder chocolate vibe, and then that coconut character seems to come out more when you're drinking the beer. So yeah, if you ever rebrew this track, maybe throw some toasted coconut in there. Do you remember when every like Imperial Stout had coconut in? I mean, I'd like that coconut character to be a little bit more abrasive and upfront, because it just has that sort of, when you're looking for a new fabric softener. Stick with me. You're looking for a new fabric softener and you want something that smells a little bit different, and you try one that's got that coconut character. It reminds you of like an edible version of that. It's a bit too more of a, it feels more of like a fragrance that has maybe a little bit of flavour as opposed to actual coconut. But it marries the chocolate really well with the Imperial Stout, and sort of you get like an actual coconut flavour coming up a bit more prominently, mixing with the malts and the cinnamon and that sort of thing. So it's really interesting. I'm not sure if I'd class that as a success. The beer's definitely not suffered, which is the most important thing with these sort of videos. So I'm not going to be like drinking the rest of this going, oh, I've got this flavour in my mouth, it's going to make this taste awful. No, it actually works really, really well. But the chocolate itself, it's a bit too perfumey, if that makes sense. That's the coconut aspect. The actual chocolate itself got a really nice consistency, and it's not too overtly sweet. It's always nice. So we're going to try the dark chocolate with quinoa and orange flavour. So I'm hoping, the quinoa will mix nicely with the blueberry in this, and of course that's cinnamon. So it just adds another level to that sort of breakfast character, or that's what I'm hoping. So likewise, pretty much the same, but obviously darker because it's dark chocolate. I'm not sure what the percentage is, but I'm not an aficionado on chocolate. But you definitely see the pieces a little bit more on the back. Excuse me. So let's give this a try. Okay. Straight away, that chocolate is so much more fascinating. Satisfying. It's chocolate orange. Granolas, the quinoa's not really adding too much. It might just add like maybe a slight earthy, grainy edge to it, but yeah, it's all about that dark chocolate with orange. Is there a better match with chocolate? Let's be honest. So it's better, but I think both chocolates, they're both okay. They're not going to blow you away. But for the price, you're not going to argue. So let's see how this works with the beer. I can't believe people actually are staying tuned to watch the rest of this video, but I do appreciate it. Okay. It gets a bit more bitter overall, but just like the coconut aspect in the milk chocolate, the quinoa actually comes out a lot more when you actually pair it with the beer. And then it plays into that whole, blueberry granola. The orange complements that nicely. It's understated, but it works. Both work. But I think out of the two, dark chocolate with a dark malt base in an imperial stout, and then you've got the slight graininess of quinoa, and then mixing with orange and blueberry and cinnamon. It is like a bowl of granola, and you've added some fruit in there. I mean, both are. I wouldn't say it's underwhelming, but it's not really like, oh, hang on a minute, what have I got here? It works nicely. The dark chocolate works a little bit better, but as I said with the original milk chocolate, the beer isn't affected in a negative way, but at the same time, nothing's really been added too much to give it like an oomph and like marriage made in heaven. It doesn't always work. I'm just thankful that 20 odd episodes in, I haven't done a Clueless Eats where it's just failed miserably when I'm pairing stuff with beer. I know a lot of them have been like classic, typical, sort of pairings, and hopefully as this series progresses they get a little bit more adventurous. I'd have loved to have recorded the Temple Donuts with a couple of North Brewing's triple fruited gozers, because when I was up in Leeds, met up with Rob, went to Temple, got some donuts, went to North, to the actual brewery itself, and I tell you what, that's probably the best pairing that I've ever had. And we didn't record it, and we were just enjoying it. So yeah, I want to do more stuff like that. So to summarise and to finalise, it was all right. Chocolates themselves, if you like your chocolate, I think you'll like that. This is definitely the better of the two. There's just a bit more flavour and a bit more character. But in terms of mixing the chocolates with the beer, it went. And that's it, really. And thankfully I've still got a good amount of beer that's not been ruined. So yeah, it's not the most successful or exciting, but it worked. And I do appreciate you guys sticking around with this and this slightly longer video format. Although I've not really done brief videos, have I, in the past? So yeah, what's some of your favourite food pairings? Do you like chocolate with stouts? What chocolate do you like with what beer? I'd love to hear your thoughts, opinions and suggestions. And yeah, this is an absolute banger of the beer, and the chocolate wasn't too bad either. So thoughts, opinions, always welcome, and I shall hopefully see you all later. Cheers.